Hi, welcome to WardKit. My name's Matt. I thought I'd give you a quick demo on how to use WardKit and how to get it set up for a new ward when it's your first time. So first thing, we want to come to the home page and hit start for free. And so I'm going to type out test ward here, do a test email so we can get in here, and I will put in a test password. And you're going to want to look at the terms of service and privacy policy. Long story short, we just don't track anything, but I know legally you have to have it there. If you'd like, you can also sign up with Google and sign in with your Gmail account if you'd like. But I'm going to go ahead and create an account now. And you can see it's now sent a verification email over to your personal email. And so I have that here, this email that comes through. So I'm going to click verify my email, or hit this button there. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so our email is now verified. I'm going to go ahead and hit get started. Now, if someone in your ward has already signed up with WardKit, you can call them and contact them and get an invite code from them, and then you'll join that ward that's already been set up. If this is the first time the ward's been set up, then you go ahead and click on create new ward. So we'll do that because it's our first time. Hit get started here, and so I'll do test ward and test stake. And then we put in what our meeting time is and our time zone. So I'll go ahead and put that in. And then if you'd like, you can put in your ward contact information. But honestly, I don't think it really does much with that. Maybe at some point it will put at the bottom of some emails or something like that if it's reaching out and sending reminders or things like that. But right now it doesn't. You can skip it if you want, or you can put it in if you like. Okay, so there is some sample data you can port in if you'd like to, or you can start with a blank slate. So I'm going to go ahead and just start with a blank slate. That way I don't have to go through and clear out anything later. And I'm just going to finish setup. So it's pretty much that easy. And over here on the side, we are in our dashboard right now. And this is where you're going to create new program bulletins that you would print out for your ward, or you could have one that you create and it will be digitally sent out. You can see right here, here's a QR code that you can look at the digital version if you want to send that out to everybody. Here's the URL right there for it. You can also print off a PDF for that if you like. And you can see here I've got a test preview of what that looks like if that gets sent in. You have conducting sheets here. Well, let's go into programs really quick. You can import a program if you have a file that you've exported of a previous program, but I'm going to click new program here, and you can type in your date and what type of meeting it is and what kind of font you want to use and how big the fonts will be on that. And if you want to compact everything, you can also override the the ward name or the stake name or the church or things like that if you'd like, if you're doing this for another ward or whatever reason. And if it's a ward conference or stake conference or fast and testimony meeting, it'll kind of set up some templates for you to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to do this one right here, and you can see now I've got this test ward and I've got the date here. You can click this little button on the side to kind of shrink it down to your screen size so it's a little bit easier. Right here, it's still in a draft mode, so it hasn't been published yet. And we can move over to different pages on what those all are. And on here, well, I'll do another tutorial that will show how to build this. Conducting worksheet, you can see because we've created that program, it's created a conducting worksheet for us. I can hit edit here, and I can look down through, and you can see where it's starting to fill in some of the welcome to the test ward. Presiding today is so-and-so. If I type this in, I say Bishop Smith, and my name is Brother Curl. that will take that information and put it over on the program. So I'm going to go back to the programs. I'll go over to that page, and you can see it's already filled in Bishop Smith and Brother Curl. If you put in the chorister or the accompanist, when you go back to conducting, it will, put certain things. We think so-and-so for the leading the music and so-and-so for accompanying us. It'll fill that stuff out. But again, I'll make a little bit more some tutorials on how to create these and navigate these. But the biggest thing is you can go into this pulpit mode, and this is something you can pull up in a mobile app. So if I click on here and I turn this to a iPhone, you can see what that would look like if we were mimicking this inside of a pulpit version. So I could use my phone, or I could use a tablet if I wanted to, and it would look something like that. Let's go out of the conducting sheet. We have a directory where we can import all of our members from LCR. Basically, we just generate some reports if you have access to LCR. From there, it will create some calling maps, which will show all of the callings in the ward, or create all the ministering apps or the relief society ministering apps or maps for you. You can create a board. This is something similar to a Trello board. Maybe we type in here to-do list for bishopric, and in here I make a list of callings to issue, and then in here I can add a card, sister, Sister Smith, we'll go with that again, called as primary worker. If you've ever used Trello, this is similar, where callings issued, it's going to be really similar to that. You can take cards and drag them around. You can click on them and assign them to people. It'll keep a history of everything that's happening, details on what's going on, and you can delete them if you are finished with them. And so you can make these little lists and move stuff along. But if you ever needed any kind of project management tool, this is a great tool for that. Also, inside of maps, you can send any changes on calling maps over into a board if you'd like. We have signups where you can go through if you have a, let's say, tithing settlement sign up. I would hit that, and I could go through and say, some description of what it is. What am I going to collect? Maybe I want to collect an email address and phone number. Just due to the cost of having to rent phone numbers and pay for text messages, I will have a premium version that you can click on here to sign up, and it will send text message reminders out to anybody to, come to tithing settlement, or maybe it's a RSVP for a camp out or whatever. And you can hit add questions and say, what do I want, a multiple choice or a short answer. I can put this stuff in here, and I can drag it around however I want. I can go to setup and say, maybe this is for interviews, or I want to fill a number of spots for cleaning the church, or I want to get a ward dinner to see who's coming. And you can select each of these and kind of see what's going on. You can go into slots and say, maybe I want a one slot time open, or a series, maybe, for the next month because of tithing settlement. I go to here and I'm going to say Wednesday nights from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. That's a really late time, and I want 30-minute increments. I'm going to generate 14 or those slots. You can see all of those dates have been filled out. I can come in here and say, when do I want reminders coming in? Maybe a week before, 30 minutes before, or something like that. And it will send out emails to everybody. It'll alert you of new signups, or if something's not filled, you can have it filled that way. Also, underneath slots, one cool thing is you can say, anybody can pick any slot, or I can suggest that slots are filled in a certain order, or I can actually require them to fill in a certain order. That way bishops, can really consolidate those times. But I can get a preview here of that now. I could pick on the date. This one is filling in order. So I would have to click on this one. And then I would put out my name and my email address. And then if I had filled out a question, like I could say something like, did you go update your information on the Ward directory, your picture or something like that? Or do you have any questions? Or have you looked at, your tithing amounts for the year? Then from there, you could hit share and share that URL or QR code with the Ward. And then you could hit responses and see everybody who's signed up for that. We have the option to add a team here, so you can see that email address I typed in. I could say, well, right now I'm the owner and I have full permissions to everything, but maybe I want to set somebody up as a contributor who will just have access to the programs. And so I can say, Patty Smith, and then type out her email address. I'll just put it in mine, test, and I want Patty to have access to the program builder, not the conducting sheet. Maybe she can view the directory. I don't want to have any of the calling maps or any of the reports done or anything like that, and I can hit send invitation. And they will get an invite on their email that they can click, and they will join here. And you can decide if they are a bishopric member or if they have full access or if they have access to certain things. As you build out your programs and different information, you can see who spoke or who hasn't, and it will build out lists of everything for you here. That's the same for prayers or musical numbers. And as you add information as you're conducting, you can hit Ward Business and see all the Ward Business you've had. And again, I'll make additional tutorials for these. I'm just trying to do a quick overview of that. If you want to do bulk imports, you can hit bulk import here and feed it any file that you want. If you've got an Excel spreadsheet or literal pictures of all of your programs you've ever had, it will import in all of your speakers, all of your prayers, all of your musical numbers, and everything like that. It will pull all that information in and populate these reports for you. So you could go through and say, who hasn't spoken for the last 3 years? And it will show everybody in there who hasn't. Last, let's just go into premium. I'll get that set up here soon. But right now, you could go through and opt out on any kind of privacy stuff you want. You can change your password. You can delete this ward, but it will keep your account. It will just ask you to set up a new ward if you want. Right now, you are the owner of it, and so if you have other members who join your ward, you can give them ownership of it, so then they can, delegate out who has permissions to what. That would probably be something you would want to give to your bishop if you are not a bishop. Get him on, get him using the tool, and then make him the owner, and then he can give access to the counselors and Relief Society and Elders Quorum, presidencies, and whoever wants access to this. But you can see all that. Anyways, there are, you can see here an online version. I don't have a program published yet. Let me publish that really quick here, and you can see, so that's now published. And now I can go click on Word and I can see a digital copy of the program. I don't have anything in here right now. I'll have some videos on how to put those together and what they might look like. But that's kind of the tool. Honestly, I built this just for me, so it would make my life a lot easier, but I thought I would share it out to the world. For the most part, it's free, other than just a couple premium features that I have on here that just cost me money, and so I took the small amount it is and passed it on to you guys. So if you guys want to have some of those premium features, you can, but I'll keep it as minimal as possible. So it basically, is not far from free each month. But a lot of cool features. It's in beta right now. I'm going to be changing still a lot of this tool and adding stuff. One more thing. There will be help files here with lots of videos on how to do different things. You can click up here to see what's new, to see what I've been adding to it if you want. And if there's some functionality, and this is important, that you would really like to have, hit send feedback. And request a feature, something that you think would be really cool, and I'm probably more than happy to implement it for you guys. I think this is awesome for wards and helpful for everybody. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys like it and you enjoy the tool. Good luck.